All right, we're rolling. Happy holidays, everybody. Where is the camera? The camera's there. Okay. So let's take a look. Camera, check 1, check 2. It's a little bit bright, but hey. I'm feeling good. I have arrived at my cat sitting gig, and I've got so much to talk to you about. So first of all, look at this picture. I'm sure you recognize it as Gustav Klimt, the Austrian that lived and painted, and his life spanned the years 1862 to 1918. So he was alive in Belle Epoque, I believe. And this is they call it this cartoon. So basically, if it were a triptych, it'd be part of it. So it's not a cartoon in the sense of cartoons are nowadays. But this is not the whole picture of what I would call a 3-part themed piece. And this is called Expectation. And it was done somewhere between 1905 and 1909. And it's done with tempera, watercolor, gold paint, silver bronze, crayon pencil, white paint, gold, and silver leaf on paper. So I'm very inspired to do more of my work. This is my henna. It's growing out, and that is the color of my real hair. So it's kind of fun doing your own design. So what happens in the triptych, as I will show you later, is that there's expectation, and then there is what happens within the context of a relationship. And oftentimes, one or the other of the partners actually gets life choked out of them. And this was done again in the early 1900s, and women had to serve their husbands, and there's nothing incorrect about that. It's just that if she got a bad one, she got a bad one. And if she got a good one, she got a good one. And don't you all agree that a man that treats you well is really the best? Some of us have never had that, so it's the best not to have one in our lives. And so there are so few women who actually are treated well in the world by men. And I'm specifically talking about the United States of America, from my witnessing of life as a woman who became sexually aware of herself and around 8th grade and didn't have sex. No, but you become sexually aware of yourself, and then you grow up and you have all these experiences, including marriages. And you know that being married to a man whose head is together and his finances are in order is a heck of a lot easier to live with than men who don't, in one respect or the other. They're awful and they deplete you. So what I'm looking for in my life is simply a soul traveler, like that song from Air. I'm more interested in developing my spiritual life with a partner than I am in asking him what he has in his retirement account. You know? So I am someone who is saying, you're better off after 60. I did one after 50 when I was still in my 50s. But now this one is, you're better off 60 and after living solo. And casual sex is not for me. I'm sure it's available if I wanted it, but I find that not appealing to me because that's not what I'm looking for. And I have a very sexual nature, and I would know how to strip tease for a man. Take a look at my dancing videos. See for yourself. They're in the playlists. The one under Planetary Tantra, unless I took it down. Or I think I kept it up because I wanted people to know that I have grown through things. Just because you think one way one day doesn't mean you keep thinking that same way. You change your mind, you change your life, you change your circumstances, you grow. Think about it. Did the things that you believed when you were 5 the same when you were in 8th grade? And were they the same when you graduated from college? If you were fortunate enough to have had a program that actually afforded you an income rather than a debt? So I've landed in my cat sitting gig. And that gives me the ability, because it's over the holidays, to sit down and pick up with those kitchen sessions, and also with the guidebook in recovery for abuse escapees. I'm inspired by the handbooks of my youth when you earn badges, you know, the gamification of self-healing. The gamification of self-healing. So I'm going to tell you that the number one thing when you're healing from narcissistic abuse is to keep it to yourself, because you're not going to get support from other people if they have never experienced it. And that's what makes our online community so important, is because people will be like, well, why didn't you just get away? And there's all manner of things. And if you take a look at the video, I'll link it. Women over 50, you're better off single. I get remarks from men that are really nasty, and if they're profane and offensive, I will remove them. I can remove any comment I want, even a nice one. However, that is not what I would do. It's a point being that I leave negative comments up, and I do reply to them. I had a good one recently. The guy is like, oh gosh, I'll do a whole thing on that. It doesn't really matter. But what's important is that you recognize not what he said, but the overall view. That you may subject yourself to other people's abuse who don't understand you. I actually had to unfriend a woman who was mad at me for breaking up with that guy in Virginia. And she treated me like I was the problem. And I was the problem, I finally figured out, only in that I kept picking inappropriate men who were abusive. And once I figured it out, which was a cause to celebrate, and left, she was angry at me. Of course, you know, you have to draw the line, and people will unfriend you, you will unfriend people. It's smart to. They don't support you, they're out the door. It's better to be alone than abused by people. Okay? Number one, people in your life does not equate to love. All right? The number of people in your life does not equate to love. Do you feel good or do you not feel good? Do you feel supported and listened to, or do you not feel supported and listened to? You figure it out just by those little acknowledgments. So it's important that you find groups and pages like this and just talk about it. Like, write shit in the, I want to be family friendly, because there are young women who are in families now that they recognize their parents as narcissistic, and one of them is usually narcissistic, and then the other one becomes codependent. And there's almost some S&M going on, sadist masochist. My mother's like that with my dad. And he is going to be parting this world shortly. And we've had our very good discussions about it. It's still going to be something I will deal with, right? So really, when you're coming out of the narc abuse, you will possibly subject yourself to more. So be very, very careful about who to tell what to, which is why it's so important to have online forums. Now, the channel who I recommend is The Little Shaman. That's who I did not pay money to, but I give homage to because her videos help me the best. Shrink people, no. She's an experienced person, yes, and she's been in the front lines. So I support her and her message to the world. I am doing something called Spiritual Kintsugi, I talk about. Kintsugi is a Japanese art form, and it's when a broken piece of pottery, usually, or china or the like, something made earthen, exquisite or not, you place it in a place of honor once you've done the work of piecing it back together again. And it becomes even more beautiful because it's been broken and its shape has changed, and now it's stronger. It's stronger, like a fractured ankle. It's stronger now.